Throwback.
Michael, what the hell is the first week of preseason for? There are not many too big names out on the ice. There weren't many AHLers out on the ice in some of those games last night. What's it for?
It is for
money,
buildings to fill up,
$160 tickets at the Budweiser Garden,
and concessions to be had, and money to be made when you're not paying the players anything but per diem.
Right.
Certainly, there's that. And the coaches might argue; they would say it gives you some time to try to implement new ideas, new systems, experiment with line combinations, but. Mostly for the players, for veteran players, the first week is just to get through. To get through and not get hurt, whether it's the rash of abdomen, back, groin pulls we've seen already, or if it's you get in the odd game where there's 6 NHLers on each team and a whole bunch of little kids running around and hitting everything that moves and playing on the edge, and they take a run at an established guy trying to make a name for themselves, and all of a sudden that guy's got a bad shoulder, bad knee, concussion, whatever it might be. So primarily, just get through it healthy if you're an NHL player, and then beyond that, hopefully all the arenas sell out because players get 50% of all those revenues.
Mike Johnson here on Tim and Sid. Tonight on Sportsnet 360, Timmy, as you mentioned, it begins.
Sharks.
Canucks. The Canucks actually
game one of a double dip.
They have 3 separate teams playing this evening in different parts of North America.
Split squad.
Splits with Stockton Lodi.
Right.
The Diaz brothers will be there.
Can I dress for one of these teams?
Yes, you can.
What the heck's going on here?
In fact,
you might help the veteran quota.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's start there in terms of what's going on around the league right now, Mike. The Canucks obviously a bunch of changes. They got a real goalie now. Well, they had 2 real goalies at one point. They traded them away. What kind of year are the Canucks looking at here?
Better than last year. I mean, and you forget at the end in December last year, they were very comfortably in the playoffs in the Western Conference. They still had Roberto Luongo playing relatively well, so they're not going to be the team they were a few years ago, but they're going to be right there battling for the playoffs and very likely making the playoffs. I think the Sedins should be rejuvenated, feeling good about themselves, new coach, new attitude. The distractions of Luongo being gone, Kessler being gone. I just think that all that stuff that went on in Vancouver over the last several years eventually took its toll when you couple it with John Tortorella and what he brings to the energy, let's say, of a dressing room. So I just think all those things being gone, if they can stay healthy, if Ryan Miller plays relatively well, they should be okay. So, they have a lot of changes. They got to figure out who's playing with who. How does Radim Verbata fit in with the Sedins? Can Alex Burrows go less than 3 months without scoring his first goal? They got to have some things happen for them to be successful, but if they do, they should be okay.
Rogers analyst Mike Johnson joining us here on Tim and Sid. A lot of the hockey people that I talked to heading into the year spoke glowingly about Willie Desjardins. Have you heard any early reviews on Willie and the job that he's doing?
I think he's going to get the attentive ear of all the players, in large part because he's not John Tortorella. That group was very frustrated with the coaches last year, and I think they're willing to give whoever it was their best efforts and try to adhere to what they're doing. But he's a very energetic guy. He's a younger guy, and he wants to play more of an up-tempo system. He's had success in the Western League. He's had success in the American League. So I think they just like the energy and the pace that he wants to play at. I think that the attention to the defensive side of the game that John Tortorella tried to bring to the Canucks didn't really suit their personnel or their attitude. And I think Willie Desjardins has gotten away from that, and the guys are excited about that.
Mike Johnson here on Tim and Sid. Mike, when do you start doing stuff? Like, are they waiting for you on the great October 8th unveil of 2014? Like, what's your deal?
I'm working every day, getting ready for.
I don't believe it.
I will be there Wednesday, October 8th, second game of the doubleheader. I'll be out in Calgary.
Oh, there you go.
And that's when you will see me on air for the first time.
Ice level or in the booth like normal people?
Depends who wins. I don't mind the ice level. Whatever they want me to do, that's where I will go. I think I will be in both places this year. Sometimes upstairs, sometimes down between the benches.
What do you like more? I think it's a decent.
Yeah, it's a good question because there are positives and negatives to both. I find that when it's a good game, worth something that is intense and physical and passionate, you I enjoy being down between the benches because you really feel and get a sense of what it's like down there, and hopefully you bring the viewers a little bit of that, and that's a unique perspective. If it's a game that doesn't have quite as much of that in it, you certainly see more things from up above. It's easier to dissect the play and appreciate what's going on the ice from that vantage point, as opposed to when you're right between the benches with all the bodies flying around you. But there's something fun about being right between the benches when the bodies are flying all around you.
Yeah. Mike Johnson here on Tim and Sid. Hey, before we let you go, I know you mentioned this off the top, and some of the names that we've heard already missing some time: Crosby, Malkin, Doughty, Giroux, Horton.
Datsyuk got nicked up last night.
Yeah, like is there a way? Maybe it's a long answer, but is there a way to describe what's going on, or is it just bad luck right now?
It's got to be more than that, though, because you have however long, 2 months or 5 months to get ready for this first week, and that includes the testing portion of it, the on-ice practices, and the beginning of the game. And somebody is doing something wrong. I mean, Elliot touched on it in his 30 thoughts, because if you know the questions to a test, you should be able to pass that test.
Yeah.
And if you know what the tests are going to be, if you know what the on-ice, the running, whatever it might be, and you know what the first week of camp is going to be like, you shouldn't be pulling your groin. You shouldn't be pulling your hamstring. You should have trained properly to make sure you can get through that and be healthy, because that's the primary goal about this first week in training camp. So either the teams are not communicating what they're required well enough, are not treating guys well enough, maybe it's too demanding what they're asking them to do, or guys are not training properly, but someone somewhere is messing up, because too many guys are getting hurt in things that should be avoidable. And it's if you're a team, it's a pretty significant issue.
Yeah. Mike, always appreciate you doing this now that you're on the team. Let's do it again soon.
All right, boys. We'll talk to you soon.